Tuesday night, happens every Tuesday night. We love doing these calls with our clients. For me, it was one of the main things that helped me lose my weight, stay on track, and keep my weight off. So anyway, this is me and my husband Ryan. Ryan will be on a little bit later, but for right now, I'm going to be your host for the night. Tonight's topic is, and Michelle, if you can, oh yeah. So tonight's topic is, you're sweet enough. So we'll get into that being the day before Halloween. We're going to talk a little bit about sugar tonight. I have asked the first client and coach to share her story tonight on the call, and you guys will soon be able to figure out why I wanted her to share on the day before Candy Day. So Christy, if you can come off mute.
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Well, hey, Leslie, thank you so much for asking me to share tonight. You know, sugar and this topic is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to share with you why. So it's crazy to say, I know, Leslie, you know this story very well, but I always say chocolate got me healthy. And you may be thinking, that's a little different. I don't think I've heard that one before. But let me take you back just several years ago to my reality. So a little fun thing with us and our family is that we own a cake and candy supply store. So what that means is if you're a baker or decorator, we are a dream come true. We have your icing, we have your sprinkles, we have your chocolate, any kind of chocolate you want, and every ingredient to make homemade candy. That was my reality. I was working at the family's business. I was teaching classes on how to make that perfect cake and how to make those candies. But deep down and on the inside, as well as the outside, I was battling with my weight. I was battling with self-confidence. And in walked this customer of mine who had a chocolate business. She would come in from time to time, and over the series that I've seen her, she transformed it in front of me. And some of you may know who that person was, but for those of you who don't, that person was Leslie. So Leslie had a chocolate business. She would come to our store and purchase things. And I noticed her amazing transformation, 76 pounds, right before my eyes. And I did a vulnerable thing. You know, I took a leap of faith and I said, what are you doing? Please share with me. You know, at that time, I gained weight pretty quickly. And with a history of battling with yo-yo dieting, it was you know, a normal thing. But at that time, I gained weight pretty rapidly and just very depressed, took that leap of faith. And Leslie said, let's hop on a call. I'll tell you, that one call changed my life. You know, put down below if that health assessment, that first program share that you heard about it, if that transformed your life, because I know it did for me. You know, after that phone call, she added me to a community of people, all of you, who I got to see your transformation, your wins, and you all inspired me to start my journey. And I said, I'll do it for a month. I'll listen to you, Leslie. I'll do it for a month. 1 month changed my life. I went on to lose 42 pounds, just a little over 4 months. And I'm super excited to say that this coming February, next year, I will be keeping it off now for 3 years. And it's just been the biggest blessing, really, in my eyes, and in my life. And it's really transformed our families' lives as well. And, you know, one of the tips that I can give you is with celebrating and, you know, family, especially this time of year, you're all going to be around people and you're going to be around food. And it's all about choices. You know, spend time with those that you love. Spend the time creating those relationships. That's what you're there for. You know, don't let the treats and things like that get in the way. One little tip I do now is, you know, my birthday passed. I love the chocolate brownie. I put a candle in there and I am just as happy and satisfied without feeling that sugar, you know, rush afterwards. And, you know, just making choices. You know, it's never a cheat, it's a choice. So go in prepared and make sure, you know, that you're ready. And, you know, Leslie sharing this gift with me, I don't know where I'd be in my life right now if I didn't hear about this program. Sure, many of you are in the same boat. You know, this transformed your life. And she inspired me to pay it forward. We've been coaching now, inspiring so many people. And, you know, that is one thing that I tell you changed the game for me because it holds me accountable. And so, Leslie, thank you. I owe it to you. I owe it to chocolate. I owe you everything for helping me get healthy and just changing my world. So thank you so much for asking me to share tonight.
Hey, Christy. It's Halloween tomorrow, so Leslie just did a quick change to prove to you all that I'm crazy enough to wear a wig the day before Halloween. So, Christy, that's why I wasn't facing you and talking back to you right away. But, Christy, you know I love your story. I will embarrass Christy and say there were days sometimes on our program where Christy would do 5 brownies a day. Her and I both had chocolate issues. That's why we were part of the chocolate business. And we still love that brownie to this day. Christy, love your story, and thanks for sharing, because if you can do it with all that you were surrounded, chocolate every day, cookies, this time of year is crazy, I think anyone can do it. So thanks for sharing your story. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Love the wig.
It's a little crazy, you guys, but I just wanted to share that we love to have fun, and we love to just inspire everyone. And just like one of the biggest things I learned was like just getting out of your own way, out of your comfort zone. And trust me, you guys, this is totally out of my comfort zone. But Christy was a great segue to some of the topics tonight. So Michelle, if you could put on the next slide, we're going to be talking about Halloween is tomorrow. So big time, eat less sugar because you're already all sweet enough already. And then if you can go to the next slide. So I just this was eye-opening for me, because especially with Halloween, some of the chocolate or candy is small, so you think it's not that bad. But I just wanted to give you guys a really good visual. So Reese's peanut butter pumpkins, which I see everywhere, even the weirdest places, stuff like places you would not even expect to see them selling candy. We were at a UPS store today and they were selling candy. So you would have to run 33 minutes if you just eat 2 of those small pumpkins. And not only would you have to run 33 minutes, which to me is a lot, it would have to be a 10-minute mile. So think about that as you navigate the next few days with all the candy around. So Hershey's milk chocolate, you would have to 59 minutes of light weight lifting. I don't know about you guys, but do you want to go for an hour of lifting weights just to eat 1 snack size of Hershey milk chocolate? When I saw this, to me, it was so not worth it. Starburst, one package of Starburst, 50 minutes of Pilates. And then I used to love this, caramel apples. Not only did I love them, I used to make them. So 40 minutes on a rowing machine. I have lasted 7 minutes on a rowing machine once and thought I was going to die. Sally wrote in the chat that there was candy at the orthodontist. That makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. But yeah, think about this, you guys. As you navigate and you're like, oh, your kids come home with a little bit of candy, you just eat 1 fun size of something. Think about how much damage you're actually doing to yourself. To me, when I saw this, I'm like, this is not worth it, you guys. So Michelle, can you go next slide? Okay, this is eye-opening. Ryan and I recently, we were at a leadership retreat where Dr. A, who founded our program, was talking about the addiction to sugar. So this blew my mind. Sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. And what's interesting is that while cocaine and heroin activate only one spot of pleasure in your brain, sugar lights up the whole entire brain like a pinball machine. So in some ways, it's actually even worse than cocaine, what it does to our brain and the addiction that it causes. I never knew that all the years that I was eating chocolate, that it actually really was part of an addiction. So, and next slide, Michelle. So this was also eye-opening. Sugar and cocaine are the same on the brain. This is a brain on cocaine, and this is a brain on sugar. They look identical. Think about that, everyone on this call. And next slide. So guys, I wanted to go through this a little bit. The sugar addiction, what happens? You eat sugar, you like it, and then you crave more of it because it's addictive. What happens next is your blood sugar levels spike, dopamine is released in the brain, addiction. Mass insulin secreted to drop blood sugar levels. Blood sugar level falls rapidly, high insulin levels cause immediate fat storage. Body craves the lost sugar high. So the more you eat it, the more you want to eat it, and the more you continue to eat it. And that's why this happens. So, and then it causes hunger and cravings. Low blood sugar levels cause increased appetite and cravings, thus the cycle is repeated. I don't know about you guys, but I had a horrible chocolate addiction. I had a chocolate business and a chocolate addiction. It kind of went hand in hand. I never understood that the more mine, I have to admit, mine was more like an M&M addiction. The more M&Ms I ate, the more M&Ms I wanted to eat. That alone is why M&Ms are still never in my house. I sometimes will bring some chocolate in my house for our son, but it will never be M&Ms. So yeah, it's definitely, once you learn what your triggers are and how bad they are for you, you make steps to not keep them in the house. Next slide, please. So you guys, this I really wanted to show also, and all the slides will be available for those that are asking about the slides. Sugar and inflammation are really impacting our health. It impacts our brain, our heart, our kidneys, our joints, our genitals, and our skin. Sugar can rewire your brain's pathways. Diets full of processed and sugar-heavy foods increase your risk of depression by 58%. Now with the heart, and I didn't know this at all until like the last couple of years, sugar inflames the linings of the arteries to the heart, increasing the risk of stroke and heart attack. So if that's not enough to beat your sugar addiction, I don't know what is. Now with your kidneys, sugar can overload them, damage their delicate filtration system. Diabetes is one of the main causes of kidney failure. And we're going to be talking more about that shortly. Your skin, when sugar bombards your body, proteins incorporate it as part of the structure, and it ages the skin and causes wrinkles. So who does not want that to happen? I don't know about anyone else, but I don't want that. And then as far as the genitals, excess sugar can impair blood flow, upping the risk of erectile dysfunction in men and sexual arousal disorder in women. Now, as far as the joints, high sugar diets pump inflammation cytokines into your bloodstream, which can exacerbate arthritis. So all of these sugars are just not doing any of us any good. And somebody wrote in the chat.
Sure, I understand.
Somebody wrote in the chat that inflammation from Crohn's was one of the first changes they noticed, even before the weight came on. The inflammation goes away really quickly with our program. So thanks for sharing that, Feiji. Next slide. Okay, so I have actually asked a client that I just actually happened to meet over the weekend. She's a client for a coach on our team, and her story was so powerful that right on the spot I said, hey, Ruta, would you do me a favor and share your powerful story on Tuesday night's call? So Ruta, can you come on?
Hi.
Hi, Ruta.
Can you see me?
Not yet.
Okay.
But if you start talking, I'm sure we'll be able to shortly.
Great. Well, hi, everyone. And it was a real pleasure meeting Leslie as well over the weekend and hearing some of her story, and she heard mine. I am a diabetic. I've had diabetes for 10 years now, type 2 diabetes. And I'll tell you that it was a very hard road. And so when I started with the diabetes, I was on medication, pills, and it progressively got worse. And I was very busy. I was an executive. And I said to my doctor, okay, just give me whatever I need so, I can keep working, and didn't self-care at all. So by not doing that, my condition got a lot worse. And if you know anything about diabetes, an A1C level is a long-term diabetic blood reading. So my blood sugar level went from about a 6.9, 7.9, and it just kept rising and rising and rising. And nothing I was doing was helping the diabetes. I was on all type of programs, had a dietitian, was also on many food programs, and I'd lose weight, but the levels really weren't going down. Then I had back surgery about 5 years ago, spine surgery, major surgery. That still didn't get my attention. And after that, I got breast cancer, and my sugar levels continued to rise. And this summer, they were at an all-time high of 10.9. And my doctor, who is the sweetest and very supportive person, she said to me, Ruta, I'm really worried. If something doesn't change and change soon, I don't know how much time you're going to have. My liver was starting to fail. I was having kidney problems. All my blood counts were bad. And so I really began to panic at that point. And I watched my husband go from a happy, jubilant person to really being worried what's going to happen to my wife. And so at that point, a very good friend of mine said to me, you really need to talk to Diane, who's my coach now, and Diane Falk. And I called her up, and she just happened to answer the phone. And she listened to me for an hour, and I was very, very depressed and just felt hopeless. You know, what do you do with an AC1 level of 10.9? So she said to me, I can help you. And it was probably the warmest thing I had heard in a long, long time, but I did hear her. And I started the program 10 weeks ago, and I've lost 44 pounds, which is amazing, but that's not the best part. The best part is my blood sugar levels went from 10.9 to 6.9 in 10 weeks. What I couldn't do in 10 years with loads and loads of insulins and medications and all type of programs happened in 10 weeks with Optavia. And so I'm so happy you guys found me and that I'm a part of this community now. I listen to the calls and I get chills, and I'm just so happy. My doctor told me, and I'll leave you with this, my doctor told me that in 20 years of practice, she has never seen anyone's insulin levels, AC1 levels drop so drastically. So she called it a miracle, and we know what we call it. And I'm just really happy to be part of this amazing group. Thank you.
So Rita, one of the clients wrote in on the chat. I don't know if you can see the chat, but they wrote, "I got chills listening to your story." And know what, Rita? I heard your story Saturday, and I still got chills again today. Not only just because of your insulin numbers, which are incredible, and you know we always have to say, you know, results not typical because everyone's different. But besides the insulin, I just also not feeling depressed is huge. All of those things are just, that's why we all have chills, and it's amazing. So I really appreciate you. You can go back on mute now, Ruta. Thanks again so much for sharing. If you could see, I hope you can see the chat and you could see how many people are like, it's just like a lot of love for you. And then somebody else wrote in the chat, his A1C went from 6.9 to 5.4 in normal range. Doctor couldn't believe it. Way to go, Ruta. So anyway, you guys, I was trying to be a little bit more fun earlier, you know, having the wig on and all that because it's Halloween tomorrow. But Ruta kind of led the segue into like talking about the sugar and diabetes, and I take that pretty seriously. So as much as I love to have fun, the purple wig is off, and but thanks so much, Ruta. I appreciate it. So Michelle, can you go to the next slide? Okay, you guys, type 2 diabetes, which is the kind that Ruta has, really a lot with type 2, there is some hereditary to it, but the more and more research is really it's what you're doing to your body. So I wanted to share a little bit of some things with the diabetes. So educate your plate. Research points to a need to retrain our brains when it comes to portion control. A heaping plate of pasta may contain upwards of 90 grams of carbs, when a diabetic should only be getting 60 to 75 grams of carbs for dinner. it's also really setting realistic weight goals. Insulin resistant type 2 diabetes gets worse with obesity. Reaching an ideal weight is critical, but to do that, you need to set goals. You may never be able to reach 120 pounds when you were in high school, although many of us have done that on this, but it might not be a healthy target weight for you. But if you aim for unrealistic goals, you could be disappointed every time and give up. So we don't want any of you to give up on this. Get moving, movement, take steps instead of the escalator, park further away at the store or your place of work, take a walk around the block. And for any of you that have heard my story before, when Michelle told me I did not have to exercise and I could lose weight on this program, I said, yes, sign me up. I was so excited. That being said, even though I really did not like exercise and during my weight loss, I didn't go to the gym or do anything specific, I did start parking further away at work. I always started taking the steps wherever I was, including on a cruise where we had to walk up 10 flights of steps, like at least 4 or 5 times a day. So you could always put more movement in your day, and that really helps with this as well. Recognize your obstacles. So taking control of diabetes and keeping a positive mindset means that you'll have to overcome inevitable obstacles. You may feel fine and have no symptoms, but long-term complications are really still a problem. So bust your stress. How many people are stressed out? So whether you have type 2 diabetes or not at all, but you're feeling stressed, having quick escape valves can help you avoid unhealthy behaviors such as eating for comfort. Be aware of the situations that typically sabotage your healthy routines. Recognize when you tend to slip up is an important first step. Arm yourself with several stress-busting alternatives. You can exercise, you can call a friend to make you feel better without undermining your overall health. One of the things Ida recognized, and I did this with this program, is I ate so much more when I watched TV while I was eating. I never knew that until this program. So I quickly learned TV and eating are never a habit I engage in anymore. But it was a habit I definitely had to bust. So when you recognize the situations where you can sabotage yourself, you can do better going forward. A lot of this, coming into Halloween starts off the holiday season. So there's, every week on this call, we're going to give you guys more tips for navigating holidays and parties and things like that as you go along. And you can actually go through even Thanksgiving and not derail your health. I did that the year I was losing my weight. I did that, and I still do that to this day because Thanksgiving used to be a big sabotage to my health. So you can do next slide, Michelle. I just wanted to, we're not ending early, but I wanted to share these things with you, but I also love to hear from all of you. I know you guys, some of you are a little quiet and like to share in the chat, but are scared to share on the call. So who wants to come off and give me an NSV, whether it was this week or over the weekend? NSV, for anyone that doesn't know, is non-scale victory. 1 million of you have already been putting it in the chat. So who wants to come off and share a non-scale victory?
I do. I can share.
Okay, whoever said I do first, share, and then the next person.
Hi. I, at the moment, am wearing a extra large t-shirt, and I've only worn XX for years and years. So, and I felt comfortable in it. I didn't feel fat in it today. So that was cool.
So it was doubly good. You got in a different size, but you also felt good about yourself.
Right. And I'm only on the program 4 weeks. I haven't even lost 15 pounds yet. But
what do you mean you haven't only lost 15 pounds? 15
No. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying I was able to get there
that quickly.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love it. Love it. Thanks for sharing, Marcia. Who's next?
It's Sally.
Hi, this is Steve.
Hey, Sal. Go ahead, Sally, and then we'll get the next person.
So my son had his homecoming dance on Saturday night. I shared this on our client support page, and food, tables, buffet, appetizers were always my trigger. And I wasn't even, tempted to walk around and look at what I wasn't going to eat. Because, you know what I mean? And just taking that to a next level. Like, I didn't even walk around that. And that was a really big deal to me. I'm coming up on 2 years of maintaining my weight loss. But I would say 6 months ago, I probably still would have circled the table and, had a mental, stop challenge shoes. This time just skipped it. So that was a big deal.
Sally, so did you go anywhere near the table at all?
I didn't even go in that room.
So smart. That's one of the things, overcoming.
I didn't look at it. I didn't smell it.
Yeah. So knowing what sabotages you and staying the heck away from it.
Yep.
That's huge. I love that, Sally. Thanks for sharing. Oh, I see one of the kids. Who was going to go next? I heard a male's voice.
Yeah, this is Steve here.
Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Go ahead.
So, I was traveling on an airline recently, and this actually happened. The first time was when I went to convention, and the second time was just this past weekend. And I used to always fly and have to sit next to my wife, and we couldn't sit apart because otherwise I'd spill into somebody else's seat. And I would always have to use a seat extension for the seat belts, and it was embarrassing and difficult to fly. And most recently, I've been able to sit not only without a seat extension, but I've literally been stuck in between, getting like on Southwest, I went in between two people, both there and back on two different legs of my flights, and have no problems whatsoever fitting in between there. So it's really been a tremendous experience, non-skill victory. So grateful for that.
Steve, thanks for sharing that. That's so huge. And you know what? I'm going to share this. I hope it shouldn't embarrass Sally, but it'll be kind of funny. Sally and I were traveling. I think it was not this past summer's convention, the year before, but it really doesn't matter. But we were walking down, and Sally and my husband and I were going to all sit together. And these two very heavy-set men, we had sat down. They actually asked Sally if she would sit in the middle seat between them, but she said she already had her seat. But because she was at a small size, they were like begging her to sit with them. It was so funny. And that was a huge MSV for Sally too. So Steve, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. We have time for one or two more. Who else wants to come on?
I'll go, Leslie. It's Scott.
Awesome. Hey, Scott. Thank you.
How you doing? Every 2 years through work, we're required to do a wellness survey along with requirements for our insurance. I work for a union, so the company's really stringent about how they pay for our medical benefits. And because I've improved my health the last 2 years, my rating number went from a 31 to a 72, and I didn't have all the information on it. And I saved $600 this next coming year in health insurance.
That's a huge NSV. That is
Right.
awesome. Hey, Scott, can I put you on the spot? Can you tell everyone how much weight you lost?
Total?
Yeah.
I'm down 104 pounds total.
Whoa.
Just 104. That's just 104.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate
You're
it. Hey, Vera, do you have an NSV?
I do.
Awesome.
Am I unmuted? Am I muted?
Yeah, you're good. I can hear you and we can see you.
Today I was in the city. I went to the Wendy Williams show, and it was the Halloween episode. They gave us to leave as a gift 6-pound huge bag of the minis, the Twix, the Snickers, the Skittles. That you don't understand. I'm walking out of the city. It was so didn't make sense that I was walking around carrying this bag. I came home and I'm like, take this away from me before I dig in. I distributed all over. I gave it out to everyone. Just food pushed it all over because I cannot eat one of those minis. If I eat one, I'm going to eat them all.
Right. Talking about the sugar addiction, right?
Yeah, just get it away. Chocolate
So,
mini.
but so smart of you because, I think Brad or Michelle wrote it. You know your triggers, and when you know your triggers, it's better to just stay away from them because if you can't handle just having one, you just don't start. And so Vera, I'll put you on the spot too, just like I did Scott, because I know you guys so well. What's your total weight that you've been maintaining, and this is why?
50 pounds.
Right.
No more minis for me.
Right. And if you did the minis, you wouldn't feel good. You'd be mad at yourself. You wouldn't feel healthy, and you certainly wouldn't be maintaining your weight because the whole bag would be gone, and then you'd go get another bag probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Vera. I'm with you. I'm the same exact way. So anyway, we have time for one more. Who wants to be the next guinea pig?
Me. Hey, Leslie.
Hey, come on off and share.
You can let that other girl go. Mine was just hiking up a mountain, and I didn't die when I hiked up the mountain. So
yeah, we'll say that real quick because that's a huge MSV.
We were in Utah all together, and there's a hike that Dr. A does early in the morning, and I went all the way up. And we're talking a few miles, all the way up, and then all the way back down. And at the very end, I videoed myself to remember it. There's no way I could have ever done that 60 pounds heavier. I mean, honestly, I could barely get through the mall without my feet hurting me, so that was really huge. And as much as I hated it, it will stay with me forever. So
that's huge. Thanks, Ray. I know we're literally out of time, but I still want to hear, I know your name's not David, but that's the name you're under on the Zoom, but you can still come off and share. We'll go real quick. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, though. You know what? I think we'll have you share next. Oh, here you go. Yeah. Do you want to share real quick? You're off mute now.
My name is Mazal. Hi, everyone. I'm an occupational therapist in a school-based setting. And I had a 5-year-old, a kindergarten, say, "Hey, Miss M, where is your belly?" as he hugged me. And I know my mom always says that children never lie, so they see it all. And that was a huge thing for me, that my students
That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. And your mom is definitely a smart lady because they don't lie and they will tell you the truth more than anyone else in the world. So that's awesome. Okay, you guys, our client portion of the call is over with.